Cars are on the grid at Avus for the first round of the 1994 German Touring Car Cup. A new standalone championship here in Germany for touring cars, running to Class 2 regulations and run separately to the well-established DTM. The new series has already attracted strong manufacturer support from the likes of Audi, from BMW, from Ford and from Nissan, along with a couple of privateer Opels thrown in for this first round here today to be run over 36 laps. So let's now go down and have a look at the grid and see how everyone lines up and have a bit of a walkthrough. Pole position, as we can see, car number 40, Ronaldo Capello from Italy. Bit of a surprise packet to be there in the front row. He's in a rock competition prepared Audi 80 Quattro. Alongside him on row 1, the veteran Hans Stuck, former DTM champion, Le Mans winner. He's in an SMS Schmidt prepared Audi, so both works Audis, just prepared by different companies, but the quality of the cars are still the same. Position 3, probably the championship favourite, 1991 DTM champion Frank Biela. He's also the 1993 French champion in Class 2 cars. Getting outshone in qualifying, but we'll see where he ends up after 36 laps here today. Position 4, Emanuele Pirro. Big name switch during the off-season from BMW to Audi. He'd been at BMW for many years in terms of touring car racing. Of course, he doubled up with a bit of Formula 1 over those years too, but he's made the big switch to Audi for 1994. Probably you'd consider him equal championship favourite alongside Frank Biela. But he's being outshone a bit here in 4th place, but as we said with Frank, we'll see how the race goes. Position number 5, the youngster in the Audi team, Patrick Bernhard. He's alongside Hans Stuck in the SMS team. But we'll see how he goes. He's not very far off in qualifying. He's less than 2/10 off Ronaldo Capello's pole time. So the Audi's proving very dominant here this weekend. Position 6, the best of the BMWs, and you consider the BMW favourite for the title, Johnny Cecotto. Very experienced, both in 2-wheel and 4-wheel competition. World champion on motorcycles. He raced Formula 1 and he's been a BMW touring car driver for many, many years. And you'd consider him probably the third equal favourite for the title, alongside Biela and Pirro. Everything going to plan. And he's the top BMW, but a long way off, nearly a second off the pole sitting Audi of Capello. So it might be a hard day for Cecotto. Yolanda Sura from position number 7, the only lady driver in the race. A great effort to be second of the BMWs. Thierry Tassin in one of the Belgium BMWs, BMW Team Belgium. FINA backing. Expected to do quite well, I think, Tassin. He's a very experienced driver. 9, Alex Bergstaller, BMW. Teammate to Johnny Cecotto in one of the works cars. Position 10, Mark Duez in the second of the BMW Team Belgium entries. Very experienced in rallying and racing. Teammates to Thierry Tassin. These could be the BMWs to set the cat amongst the pigeons in terms of the BMW setup. They're only committed to the first 2 rounds so far, but maybe some good results. They might stick it out for the rest of the year. Alfred Hager, very experienced driver again with BMW. Been with them for many years, bringing up the tail of the BMW entries, but we'll expect him to move forward in the race. Bruno Eichmann in the first of the Fords. He's in an Eggenberger Ford Mondeo. Car number 6. He won the Wellington 500 last year in a Porsche, the well-known touring car enduro down in New Zealand. Marcus Osterreich out of 13. He's in another of the works Fords, but his is Wolf prepared. Hard slog it's looking like for these Fords, but we'll see how we go. Position number 14, that's us, Russ Dougman. We're driving an Eggenberger Ford Mondeo, similar colours to Bruno Eichmann. We'll see how we go. I quite enjoy driving the Ford. It's, as we saw earlier on, if you go back through our archive on the YouTube channel, we drove the Mondeo in the 93 Touring Car World Cup. Quite excited. Car number 47. We'll see how we go. We're competitive in amongst the other Fords, but we're a little bit off the BMWs and especially the Audis. But hopefully during the race we can mix it up with them a bit. 15, the first of the Nissans, Michael Bartels. Car number 23, the blue Castrol liveried car. They're quite a bit off the pace, but similar to the Fords, there's sort of going to be three classes in the race by the looks of things. The Audis are going to take off, the BMWs will be hanging in there behind, then we'll have the Fords and the Nissans. Position 16, Thierry Boutsen, fresh out of Formula 1, drove for Jordan in 1993 after a long career, and now he's turned to touring cars following the end of his F1 career, driving the Eggenberger Ford Mondeo. He's got history with Eggenberger going back to the mid-80s, where he drove their Ford Sierras in European and World Touring Car competition, particularly at the likes of Spa for the 24-hour. Position 17, Ivan Capelli, another former Formula 1 driver, driving the second of the Nissans. Quite a ways back, not quite what you'd expect from ex-Formula 1 drivers, but I think a lot of it has to do with their machinery. Both drivers very capable. Of course, Capelli drove for Ferrari. Came close to a win with Leighton House in 1990 at the French Grand Prix. Position 18, Marco Werner in the independent Opel Astra. White in colour, not a lot of sponsors, but be interesting to see how these cars go. Of course, in Britain and throughout Europe, that's the Vectra or the Cavalier that's the GM car of choice, but in Germany they're looking to prioritise the Astra this year, so we'll see how they go. And off the tail of the field, Mario Hebler, second of the Astras. He's a little bit of a ways off Marco Werner, nearly a second off Werner's pace, but it's going to be a long race. Could be a very long race for them off the back, but it's a great looking grid. A lot of quality, some great varied manufacturer support, and it should be a good season. So we'll now go down to the grid and we'll hop in our Ford Mondeo and we'll see how we go in round one of the 1994 German Touring Car Cup. Set to go. Round one from Avus, German Touring Car Cup. Away we go, a bit of wheel spin. Away okay, we got Marcus Osterreich and Alfred Hager who are getting around. Down to turn one. Bit of a bottleneck expected here. Right around the outside, try and get around some of the drama. Up to this interesting chicane. Just clipped the curb. So we're away in 12th. We've made two spots. We're in front of Real Eichmann, our teammate. We're at the end of the first lap. This is a very awkward corner on cold tyres. Round we go, back onto the main straight. Fifth gear. Sixth gear. We've got Eichmann and I think it's Alfred Hager going side by side behind us. Lap 2 of 36. Under brakes, hard on the brakes. Out of the hairpin. Through the chicane. Closing up, I think it's Marcus Osterreich in the Wolf Racing Mondeo ahead of us. Sort of a sister works team. A lot of oversteer. It's allowed Eichmann ahead of us. And Alfred Hager. Right behind the BMW. Across the line. Down to 14th, unfortunately. Under brakes. Hager and Eichmann into each other. Side by side of the S's, this can't end well. Get a bit of a run on Hager, we'll get the inside into the sweeper. Hager's still there. Go to the last corner. Terry Bootson's down the inside of this. That's... Oh. Well, got caught out wide, and that's what happens. Brushed the fence. I don't think we've done any damage, but just means we've got a bit of hard work to do because we'd started so well. Now got the two Nissans in front of us. I think it's Ivan Capelli directly in front, then it'll be Michael Bartels just ahead. Ivan Capelli, former F1 driver. As recently as early 1993 with Jordan. By the end of 93 he was racing touring cars with Nissan and did the 93 World Cup. Into lap 5, down in 17th, we've got a lot of work to do. Around the hairpin. Very interesting track, Avus. Now it's over the curve. We can't brake as late as the AI through this last corner for whatever reason. Try and make all my time up in the first half of the lap. So the same distance behind Capelli. Now to the final corner. Around onto the main straight. The Audis are proving incredibly dominant here, especially when you compare how they were in the 93 World Cup we ran not too long ago at Monza, where the Audis were nowhere, and it was a power circuit like this one, and it was all BMW that day. Obviously the work that Audi put in over the off-season into 1994 paid dividends. Over the curve, closing in on Ivan Capelli, because the Audis have been so much faster than anything else here this weekend. onto the front straight. That's the line. Down to turn 1. Muck on the outside of the corner there. Very hard track to get right, very fast. Onto the main straight. Working on these two Nissans ahead of us. And the Astros is behind us. Can do a better run through here. Down now to the final corner, the closest we've been since I slipped off the track. Flag was out, so perhaps something's happened ahead. There's a lot of smoke. I assume we're about to see a detonated engine here somewhere. Driving into... someone's smoking. Is it an Audi? Saw a bit of red ahead, and oh, there's a car across the road. It's the Audi. It's car 5. It's the Emanuele Piero. Well, not the ending to his first Audi drive that Piero would have wanted. Lucky that no one hit him as well. That did hurt us though, chasing Capelli, because we dropped a bit of time. So I can make it up there. The Audis proven very dominant, running of course front splitters and rear wings. As are, of course, the Alphas in early 1994 in the British Touring Car Championship. BMWs haven't got any aerofoils, neither do the Fords, although they did end 1993 with a little rear wing, but that was left off them at the start of 1994. The Nissan Primeras have got a little rear wing. So far they're not, don't seem to be giving the performance gains that Audi have got. One Capelli getting into the hairpin. To the chicane. Can we get a run in through here? That could have been incredibly nasty. Final corner. to lap 12 completed, so we're already a third of the way through. Down to the hairpin. I think we're just a little bit quicker than Capelli. It's just making it all happen. It's try not to lose too much time through this last corner. So we do gain a lot of time when it breaks into turn 1. 6th gear. And there's a car sideways, it's the Nissan. I think it's Michael Bartels. And he's held up Capelli, so we'll try and take advantage. And we're ahead. And it looks like Bartels is still going as well, so that's 2 spots gained. Two spots gained. So we're up to 14th now. I think it's Thierry Boutsen in front of us. Our Eggenberger teammate. 3 Eggenberger Ford Mondeos. The identically painted car to us, Bruno Weichmann. And then Thierry Boutsen's car, which is painted the same as Marcus Osterreich's, but Marcus Osterreich's car prepared by Wolf. There's a lot of Audis and BMWs in this series, so I thought I pretty much left me if I wanted to even the grid up a bit. Did I want to run a Nissan or a Ford? I am quite partial to my Fords, so hence why I went with the Eggenberger Mondeo. I quite like the colour scheme as well, the Bruno Weichmann's. Around the final corner. Approaching halfway. At the moment I've seen off the Nissans, so Eggenberger, of course, synonymous with Fords in the late 80s. World Touring Car Championship and the European Touring Car Championship. Thierry Boutsen, who we're closing up on, he drove some of the Texaco Sierras for Eggenberger in 87 and 88. At the time he was a Benetton F1 driver, and Benetton had Ford engines. One assumes those links helped him get this Eggenberger drive in this series for 1994. Down to the hairpin. It's we had a little bit of a stumble. Ironically, here we jumped on the brakes early there. Can we go up the inside? Side by side through the kink. Bootson was the man who replaced Ivan Capelli at Jordan in early 1993. Bootson drove most of the season, but he was then replaced with 2 rounds to go by Eddie Irvine, who then stayed with Jordan for 1994. A little bit deep. Is that an Astra up ahead of us, or is that Bruno Eichmann? Yellow flags out somewhere. And it's Bruno Eichmann who's pulled over. Don't want to pass under yellow, so to the final corner, so we've made up another spot, unfortunately at the expense of our teammate. Around the last corner, dropped a heap of time there. Running 12th. So a little bit of attrition creeping in. Hairpin closing up on one of the Astras. Is it Marco Werner or Mario Heblo? Either way, I think it's going to hold Bootson up. It is. And we'll get both of them. So sorry, Thierry. Worked out quite well, but up to 11th. We're a long way behind 10th. Bootson's behind us again. Down to turn 1, down to the hairpin. The chicane. Fifth gear. Aim it at the kink. Not much of a sight line around here. Across the line. 15 laps to go. Around the hairpin. Oh, that's way too wide. We're off in the muck. May give Bootson a chance, but I think we've held it. Over the curve. So we're running 11th. 19 cars just to start this new series. More expected to join as the year goes on. Germany's foray into Class 2 racing. Of course, there was a class, literally a Class 2, alongside the Class 1 DTM cars in the 1993 DTM. BMW and Audi supporting the Class 2 formula rather than the new for 93 2.5 litre Class 1 regs, which originally was probably expected that BMW would be a part of, alongside Opel and Mercedes. And ultimately Alfa joined in too, but BMW threw their lot in with Class 2. In '93 they put a big effort with Schnitzer into the British Touring Car Championship, as well as other championships across Europe in the Class 2 2-litre formula. And for 1994, BMW and Audi got right behind this German series. Ford, who had a long history of supporting touring car racing in Germany, they jumped on, as too did Nissan. So it was a great base to start what was a relatively short-lived but fantastically competitive series, which to a lot of the, I guess, English-speaking world was a bit of a mystery, but it attracted such a good, diverse type of cars, almost as good as the British Championship in terms of number of makes, and the driver talent and driver experience was just as diverse as any British Touring Car grid. And I don't mean that to talk down the success of the British Touring Car Championship, because it was awesome. But how good the German series was got a bit lost. So hopefully by doing this series and perhaps some of the others in the history of it, we can celebrate it a little bit. Through the kink, still running 11th, through the final corner. We're past 2/3 distance, coming around with 11 to go. Haven't been lapped yet, but I think it's not far off. If we look left as we come out of the hairpin, we may see the roofs of a couple of Audis. Interesting to see who's leading, because it'll be quite a battle. We've already lost Piero, but I imagine there's quite a battle between Frank Bieler and Hans Stuck. Ronaldo Capello will be in there too. I'd say Patrick Bernhard not far behind. Down the main straight. It's developed into a bit of a lonely race for us. I was hoping to crack the top 10. And I can see the Audis now in the rearview mirror. Two of them. Do we assume Bieler and Stuck? And who's in front? Now I realise it's only a sim, but I'm still going to let them go. I'm not getting in their way. Here they come. Pull left. Stuck and Capello it looked like, which I think is a bit surprising, because I would have thought Bieler would be right up there running with them. In fact, maybe we're going to witness a lead change. Capello all over Hans Stuck. There's another Audi coming, so maybe that's Frank Bieler. The '93 French champion. 91 DTM champion for Audi. And one of the big V8 limousines, as they were nicknamed. The way these Audis are going, it's like they've got a V8 compared to everyone else. Out into the muck there. Here comes the Audi, so I think we'll go wide into turn 1 and let him go. Not sure I wanted to go that wide, but it's actually Johnny Cicotto, it looks like, who's keeping him inside. That wasn't very good. Down to the final corner, is that? Another BMW behind us, looks like one of the Belgian BMWs. I think Thierry Tassin. There he goes. Only committed to doing the first 2 rounds. Tassin and Mark Duez. Fina backing in those cars. Mark Duez's car looks like also has some redded out Bastos backing. Through the sweeper. So you're still sitting 11th. I think Marcus Osterreich's in front of us. The Wolf forward. We've got an Audi coming past us. We do, Patrick Bernhard. And then Mark Duez is coming up behind us and let him go too. There's a couple of BMWs trying to keep the Audis honest. And yellow flag out. And that is Johnny Cicotto, I think, who has blown a motor. He'll stay behind the lapped car of Mark Duez, who of course we had a great dice with amongst other BMWs in the 93 World Cup. Final corner, coming around, 5 laps to go. Another BMW up behind us. So that'll move us to 10th with Cicotto retiring. BMW behind us, is that possibly Bergstaller? Was. Maybe Shearer as well coming up. So we're in the points and getting a look at how the field's looking. But if you're not driving a German car, it doesn't look like you're in the money at the moment. I think it's Yolanda Sura behind us. Give her some room. There we go. .16 in front of 11th place, which presumably is Thierry Boutsen. Down to turn 1. Very nice little track. Takes a bit to get used to, get your head around. Through the chicane. Fifth gear. Go sixth early so we can get through the kink with two hands on the wheel if possible. And to fourth. I just cannot get through this corner as fast as the AI is. Now I'm coming across and completing my 33rd lap, but the leaders all have completed their 34th, so 2 to go. You might think when you get to this part of the track that it's not the world's most well-modelled track, but if you have a look at video footage, this is what the last corners look like. The sort of lighter coloured pavement that sort of just fell into the grass. Down to the hairpin for, I believe, my last time. Through the hairpin. So we're going to come home with, I believe, 10th place. Not great, but it'll do. Through the kink, down to the final corner. Roll through. And we'll take the checkered flag. Finish up in 10th place in round 1 of the 1994 German Touring Car Cup. Let's now go and check the final results. So the results then after 36 laps, and it's domination by Audi. Ronaldo Capello a little over a second in front of teammate Hans Stork in a very, very dominant performance. Frank Bieler was 2 seconds back in third. Patrick Bernhardt 13 seconds back in fourth place. First of the BMWs were the BMW Team Belgium cars, Thierry Tassin and Marc Duez 5th and 6th, ahead of the works car of Alex Bergstaller in 7th, and Yolanda Sura in 8th. 9th and 1st of the Fords, Marcus Osterreich in the Wolf Ford Mondeo, and rounding out the top 10 in the point scorers was us, Russ Dougman in our Eggenberger Ford Mondeo. Good start to the year, some points. Can't be too disappointed with that. Michael Bartels was classified 11th in the BMS Scuderia Italia Castrol Nissan, but he had an engine failure right towards the end, but still classified in front of Marco Werner in 12th in the Opel and Ivan Capelli in 13th in the second of the Nissans, so a very disappointing outing for the BMS Scuderia Italia team, fresh out of Formula 1 as well. They'll be looking to improve in coming events. Johnny Cicotto out with an engine failure after 31 laps. Thierry Boutsen had suspension failure. Mario Hebler, he had a gearbox failure in the Opel. Bruno Eichmann had suspension problems in the Eggenberger Ford. Alfred Hager in the BMW, he was out early with gearbox issues. And Emanuele Pirro, the first retirement, probably the big shock of the race, engine failure after 9 laps. He'll not the best start to the season and the best start to his Audi career. So that leads us on to the point standings now, and the top 10 in points reflect the top 10 in the race, obviously. Capello from Stuck, Bieler Bernhardt, Tassin, Duez, Bergstaller, Sura, Osterreich, and we're rounding out the top 10 on 1 point after the first race of the season. So we'll leave with a few of the highlights on screen. Action-packed race, few retirements, a bit of attrition, but it has the makings of a pretty good series. So round 2 is going to be from deep holes in a couple of weeks. In reality, round 2 was at Wunstorf, but that isn't in GTR2, that track. So we're doing what we can. Deep holes is a similar airfield circuit, so we'll be using that one for round 2. First up before then though is round 3 of the 94 Australian Manufacturers Championship from Winton, and look forward to your company when I bring that to you soon. Bye for now.